We have Jonathan Sacerdoti with us, the royal expert, 124 News UK and Europe correspondent. Jonathan, that was almost a picture-perfect tone at a time it was really called for, but hard to deliver when it's your own mother you're talking about. What do you think?
It's absolutely true that for King Charles, this is not just a case of mourning his mother, his dear mama, as he put it, but also realizing the enormous weight of responsibility that is now on his shoulders as the king. There is always a monarch, and as soon as she died, he became the monarch. And so that was a speech where he set out his stall. He said that he knows that in the past he's had this reputation for being an activist Prince of Wales, but things will change. He said, my life will of course change as I take up my new responsibilities. He said he'd no longer be able to give so much energy to the charities and issues which are important to him. So all of those promises he's giving now, like the promise his mother gave 70 plus years ago that she would serve for the rest of her life, he is now saying how he plans to serve. It remains to be seen, of course, if he's able to stick to that, because he's so well known for his views. He's so well known for his life. We know so much about him, in contrast to his mother, who came to the throne so young, that things are going to be very different in his period of rule.
Now, he went on to say of his mother, in her life of service, we saw that abiding love of tradition together with that fearless embrace of progress, which makes us great as nations, that the affection, admiration, and respect she inspired became a hallmark of her reign. And he was clearly sensing the heavy pressure on him to do the same. Do you think he set that out clearly for his people who are hurting?
Well, he has set out what he wants to do very clearly, what he wants the nation to hear that he's going to do. Of course, people will judge, I suppose, on his actions, but there's every reason to believe that he will take seriously this enormous responsibility. We heard the former Prime Minister Boris Johnson in Parliament earlier talking about the massive amount that was asked of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II at such a young age and throughout her life, and how she carried it all off efficiently. The same is being asked of him. This is a massive thing to ask somebody to do. He spent his whole life knowing that it's coming, but not knowing when. Let's not forget that at his age, most people are thinking of retiring, slowing down, taking on less responsibility. There can be no bigger responsibility than that he's taking on now. So there's certainly, the stakes are very high. And as I said, because people have very firm ideas about him already in a way that they just wouldn't for a much younger monarch coming to the throne, there's an awful lot for him to prove in that sense. And I think the first clue today about how he was going to try and deal with that was when he arrived at Buckingham Palace. He didn't drive through the gates in the car. He got outside the palace. He went not to look at the flowers first, but to go and shake the hands of the people who were all wishing him well as the king and, of course, passing on their condolences. I think this was a very clear sign, very carefully thought out. It was filmed by a crew from the BBC and pulled to all the other media so that people could see just next to him cameras showing him shaking hands, even embracing and kissing members of the public, showing that he is going to be a sort of servant leader in the same mold as his mother. But he won't be able to do it the same way as his mother because they're such drastically different people. So we'll have to wait and see what Prince Charles, now King Charles III, is going to do to stamp his own mark on the monarchy.
It's just beginning, as you pointed out. Jonathan, thank you.